Hey everyone, and welcome back to Day by Day. The past few weeks at the office have been busy and stressful, and I was not really planning on posting anything this week. This space was never supposed to interfere with my main responsibilities, but it made me a little sad to think that I would not be posting anything just because of work. Then I realized that it's exactly the point of having this space to share day-to-day stories, reflections, and try to put into words the things I want to say, the things that are on my mind. And considering that work is such a recurring concern, a major topic in most of our lives, I decided to share a few personal reflections on being an employee. This is not really to provide an advice. These are just the things that I wish I knew better before starting work, or the things that I appreciate more now. I'm just hoping that others can relate, those of you who are watching, and even learn something from them. The first one is it is all just work. This is a reflection that can make work easier or harder depending on how you view it. I'm a believer that my employment does not define who I am. We can mess up, we can make mistakes, but those errors should not define who we are. My simple rule is if you tried your best and did not deliberately choose to fail, then it is not really a moral failure. Sure, it might result in something bad, even catastrophic from time to time, but you should not torture yourself over it. I don't think there is any other way to see it. We are all essentially dispensable at work. As I have mentioned in my previous video, security of tenure can be defeated. Believing otherwise can lead to a kind of false reliance. Thinking that work will always take care of you just because you give it everything. But at the same time, work is extremely important. It is how we survive. It is how we provide. If you focus only on compliance, you end up just being a machine. But if you dismiss it completely, you risk irresponsibility. That's why it's very important to recognize that human error will always be there. And that is where the balance lies. Do not rely on work 100% for your sense of worth, but also do not use that as an excuse to stop doing your best. Have the peace of mind that as long as you are honest and you tried, you should not have to worry all the time. But as I have said, this reflection also means recognizing why I appreciate work this way. By seeing that it is not my main thing. Business owners, athletes, artists, or those in creative pursuits might have a different appreciation on this. Their lives can be spent in the pursuit of what they love, and they can rightfully call it a part of who they are. They cannot just say, I tried my best. For employees, to a certain extent, we are lucky. We can have that peace of mind. And I wish I knew this earlier. Even though I practice labor law as a profession, this is not my main thing. I'm still in the process of figuring it out. Maybe I'm already doing it. I just don't know. I just don't realize it yet. But for me, work is really just a means to an end at this moment. And I'm not saying people who invest their whole lives in their work are wrong. It is up to them to decide to do that. But appreciating work this way helps you calibrate your life and your priorities. And since this is how I value work, the next point becomes important, even essential. The second reflection that I want to share is having a backup plan. This really feels like a continuation of the first point. Because if you accept that work will not always take care of you, then you need a backup plan. For me, that starts with savings. Ideally, you should have at least 3 months, but better 6 months of your average monthly expenses saved up. It is not about luxury, it is about having peace of mind. If everything goes south, you have that 3 to 6 months cushion. But it's not just about money, it is also about skills, especially if saving that amount is difficult for you. Having something you can immediately turn into income if you lose your job. Personally, I feel lucky. I was determined to be a lawyer. But interestingly, because of the first reflection I shared, lawyering became my backup plan. Something I can return to immediately if I need to. I know it's hard to save up, but there is really no workaround for having this. You just have to start as soon as you can and keep trying to upskill along the way. The third reflection is knowing when to go. I really acknowledge that this comes from personal experience, and this could vary depending on your priorities. But I just feel like it is smart to know when to have, It is smart to know when to leave, regardless of your parameters. Because if you do not have any criteria, for that matter, you will end up making that decision purely on emotion, which can be unreliable. For me, the minimum conditions are simple. You are paid fairly, your company genuinely cares about you, and you have a boss or a lead who supports and teaches you. If you have these three, even with other negativity, you will probably be okay at work. Two out of three, you can stretch it, I think. But if only one exists or none at all, it is highly likely that it is time to say goodbye. Having clear conditions gives you something solid to measure against. It is not about overthinking, it is about being honest with yourself about when it's time to go. And if you cannot leave, even though you know it is time based on your parameter, because of reasons beyond your control or out of necessity, then at least you are aware and you can work slowly on the other things that will help you make that transition. And the final reflection that I wish to share, and if there's one thing that you can take away out of this, it's this: it's to always work with kindness. Honestly, this is easier said than done. It really comes down to being conscious about it. I try to remind myself to choose kindness. At work, I always try and ask myself, how can I make the experience of the people I work with more pleasant? But that does not mean letting people take advantage of me. I think if I think someone is already pushing those boundaries, I will speak my mind. For me, it is about being clear and direct without being cruel. Kindness is not about being a pushover. It's about being respectful but also standing up when needed. As a professional now, I never really imagined or expected that there would be so many difficult people you end up working with. And I know I can also be difficult at times too. I can be that person from time to time. But I try to operate from a place of kindness, because imagine not having that thought, just advancing your personal agenda without care. That is exactly how we create toxic environments. Again, this is not about being a pushover. It is about clearly communicating that you are not an enemy and being willing to take accountability if things go wrong. That way, you also help build a more positive culture in your workplace. These are just my thoughts. Things I wish I understood better when I was starting. Things I keep trying to remind myself of now. Maybe they will resonate with you, maybe they won't, or maybe they will help you reflect on your own experience as an employee as well. But if they don't, I appreciate you reaching this point. If you want more quiet reflections like this, you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is at daybydoy. Thank you very much for watching.